I'm Chris Collected. Welcome to another episode of Life in Progress. Or more like making a fashion in progress for sure. Today what we're going to be doing is making a little bit of a quilt block. So as I showed you guys before, I was in the process of making all my own little quilt blocks. So that's like an M or a W, you know, an R, or for you guys an R, H, you know, all the letters, right? Some are a little bit bigger, some are a little thinner, you know, having fun with it, doing different stuff. So now that I have it printed out, I have it all done, see, like my T is really thin, right? So just, you know, having fun with the sizing and everything. Because it's my little quilt block, I can do what I want with it. And so, of course, I had to start making something with it. And I had a request last time because I asked what I should make. And let's see if I can get it in the shot there. It says D-A-D. So that's my A. That's one of the D's. And this is the other D. And I actually did this one, and the center is actually the inverse pattern, which was kind of a mistake, but you know, I kind of called it a happy accident and just kind of went with it. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do, is continue to make this little quilt block today. And obviously this is for a very special person that's in the audience here today. And you know, not to make anyone else jealous, but here's an M, an O, and another M. And I've been purposely cutting these out. So like the M has the word amazing in it. And it has, like, you know, the glaring eyes. Of course, you know, stuff like that, right? And then, like, you know, the peaceful little birdies. So, you know, the mom has the peaceful stuff. And then, like, you know, this like pink and blue fabric, stuff like that, right? So, you know, I'm trying to do it a little bit purposeful. You see, this one has Thor in it for my dad here, and then it has Hulk and Thor written into the fabric too. And this one has like food and stuff in it, and nice cool colors, because that's all like what he wears on his clothing is all like earth tones and these blues and stuff. So it's very much reminiscent of his clothing and reminiscent of his, like, you know, his life as well. A little bit of flour, the Hulk and stuff, so, you know, all kinds of fun. And not to be outdone, I have more coming, don't worry. You know, if you're not getting made yet, you'll get made eventually. Because I have another one here as a P, so I wonder what that could be, right? You know, we're working on stuff. That one's a T. So, you know, I'm working more and more stuff. But, you know, I wanted to get, you know, one done at a time. And so for right now, we're going to get these done. This one I finished already. I just got to get the, I haven't sewed the actual bag yet. So it can still, like, come apart. So I can kind of still show you guys this is what it looked like. And then I'm going to put the bag on it. And there you go. So now that we went over that, I wanted to continue making my D. And this fabric is two-sided. It has this like kind of gray, and then as you go through, there's like little bits of blue and stuff. And so the other side is just solid gray. If you ever got a face mask from me, this is probably one of the #1 fabrics that I used for a long time. Just because it was like a very manly fabric, and I was kind of making a lot of like ones for men necessarily, just because, you know, I saw a lot of people be like, I don't want to wear a face mask. So I was like, all right, well, I'll make you a masculine one, and then hopefully you want to wear it. I do have the other one set up today. Where's the N? What do you need an N for? What, for Nincompoop? That's right, I can't use the light, it'd be too bright for you guys. And the nice thing about this is I can leave the salvage on and then just cut it, like, you know, use that as my guide. And so I just kind of wanted to show how I made one of these and then give an update of progress of like what I'm doing. Oh yeah, that's on the list too, is Nanny. That is on my list as well. Yeah, so so far. Yeah, list is as follows: Dad, Mom, Bro, Nanny, House of I, House of Improvement, H of I, THC, and then the Trust, Honor, Create, PTSD, Surviving, instead of Survivor, stuff like that. So doing different kind of stuff, you know, doing different, you know, not just family, but also like imagery and stuff like that too. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're on the list for sure. That's why I'm starting these in summertime, because I know everyone in the family is going to end up wanting one, and so I'm going to have to start now if I want to get them all done. So I'm sure my family there are kind of my first customers there. I know they want them. And I'm happy to make you guys ones. And see, you know, all I'm doing is essentially sewing this piece, the border piece, to the whole thing. And then once you have that, then I make the center, then that block is done. And what's interesting is I can choose to do it however I want. So if I want, you know, like for instance, this one has this piece long and this piece short. If you can see the seam there. And I just chose to do that randomly, right? So it's like this one, I chose to do the front and the back are going to be the same. So that way it's kind of like two different Ds instead of the same D twice. Gotta make sure I use the right side. You know, you can always iron it too if you need to. I am using a like a washable, like a heat sensitive one. Hello. Oh, hold on. I don't know if you've seen yours yet. Here you go. So M. M. And then your O. Which actually I'm going to do it like this. So the lady's face is like in the corner there. Isn't that fun? So that one's yours. But yeah, I'm working on, I have an N's and A and Y's all done, you know, so I got, you know, I'm working through them all. And then I'm just going to do probably bro for Phil there. I'll just do bro. That way I can keep it to only 3 letters and get it done simple, right? Nanny over there trying to make all the letters. And then the music today is YouTube's copyright-free music, and so we'll see how copyright-free it really is, huh? But it says, you know, it's on YouTube's thing, and it said copyright-free, so I was like, all right, we'll see what happens. I don't think I get enough followers to even have the censors really watch me or anything. Eh? In fact, without this the software that I'm using, I wouldn't even be able to do that like video game stream I did the other day. And then if you're curious, I'm doing it at 1.5 inches. Why 1.5 inches? I don't know, I just kind of chose it. I thought it looked good in proportion to my designs. Because my designs are 1 1/8 inch, and then once you do it down, they become 1 inch. They become roughly 1 inch. And so you have 1 inch, and then you have this, which will be 1 1/8 inches once I actually put it in, you know, because this will then have seam allowance built in. So it will be essentially only 1/8 of an inch bigger of a border, which I think is just kind of, you know, a neat way of doing it. And see, you can see it made a really tiny little bottom square because I did it this way. Whereas if I had done it that side piece first, it would have made that longer, but this shorter. All right, so it's, you know, I'm just kind of messing with all the proportions and messing with all the stuff and just seeing what happens, you know. Sometimes I just test out pieces, see how it's going to fit. Yeah, that'll work. And then everything's at 1/4 of an inch. Just in case you're curious about my seam allowance, I'm doing it at the standard for sewing a quilt, which is 1/4 of an inch. What'd you say? I just saw your dad's first comment and he was taking advantage of me cooking dinner. Well, that's classic dad, isn't it? And then the plan is after I get the, you know, nanny, bro, mom, and dad done, then I will probably open it up to a commission, so then I will have, you know, plenty of experience doing this. And so then I can actually start getting paid by other people to do it. Is the idea there. So if someone wanted to order one for their mother or their daughter or their whatever, they could do that. And then really small pieces can kind of just go in the trash. If it's big enough, I put it in my pile over here, and I'll end up using it in, you know, future blocks. And the fun thing about this one is because it's two-sided, I can really start playing with that, you know? Interesting. See, that one's going to be not square, so I might end up redoing that piece in the future. We'll see, because this one is square. But I don't necessarily need it to be square, it doesn't have to be. Or maybe I'll just sew another piece onto it, you know? Take one of my scrap pieces and I can like sew that on there. Sew that on there, and that'd be fun. But that's the whole point of these for now, is kind of just a trial and error. Keep trying different things and see how it works, you know? The only bad quilt is the quilt you don't finish, right? If it's done, then it's a good quilt. then I am using rainbow thread for all this. I think from now on I'll probably be using rainbow thread for quite a while. I mean, it's a, you know, a quilt weight thread, so there's nothing wrong with using it. And I got a bunch of it, so might as well. And the bobbin is actually a different color. My bobbin is actually ends up being a different color than my rest of it, which is fun. My top and bottom are two different types of rainbows. And then I do use like the steam feature. It's always very helpful. Alrighty. What's nice also is there's a straight line down this middle of this ruler. See there in the middle there. There's a straight line there, and so that you can kind of like, I can line that up with my vertical part and then get my horizontal going too, and therefore I have like a straight 90-degree angle. Is there anything straight about me or my angles? Ooh, also, bonus thing. Look at that, I got my stamp in. I did it in silver, so probably not going to be the best. But then also have this US one too. Isn't that cool? So this is what you'll get from me. I hand write on there like, thank you from House of Improvements. And then I say, here's a free gift for you. And then you get, you know, like a little free gift. Which I am in the process of, my first drop is in 2 weeks from now. Literally 2 weeks from this Friday will be my first drop, and it will be a bunch of the microfiber ones. So these are all microfiber, which, ooh, I found silver microfiber cloths. I mean, orange is pretty common, but these ones were silver. I found them at Home Depot. And then, so I have a bunch of those in different designs. And then this was like one whole towel. See, it's all like the same towel. And then there's some blue towel too, but this is all one towel. Shredded and put into, you know. And so I'll have a drop of basically a couple of these, you know, of the nice, they're nice big size too. I mean, you know, basically 2-hand size. You know? You know what's funny? I bought a gold one here, hold on 1 second. So I bought this gold one with it, okay? Brand new, brand new. Opened it up, it's completely dry. I have no idea how to use it. And so it literally crumbled into pieces. And so what I did is, I just took that ink and literally just use it in my fingers like a little brush. And then literally like just paint, I don't know if you can see if it shows up or not. Can't really tell if it's showing up. But if you look, the whole thing is actually gold now. I actually painted it gold because this stuff is not usable. I don't know how to get it. I mean, it's literally like, if you look at it, the whole thing is just crumbly. See what I'm saying? The whole thing's crumbled. Brand new too. I mean, I just got it from the company. Spent like $3 on it, and ended up, you know, being junk. But as I try not to throw things away. I ended up, you know, just using my hands and using like a little brush and and there you go, and did another one, and then I still have, you know, a bunch left over, and so I can make more. I'm gonna see if it's, yeah, right, but it's supposed to be brand new. I literally just bought it from this company. I bought it when I got this. They were like, hey, you can add for like $3, you can add an ink pad. Not, you know, also I'm such an amateur, I didn't know that the ink pads only cost like $2 anyways when you go to Joann, so it's like it was stupid for me to buy it anyways. But you know, you live and learn, right? You know, so I ended up using it as I could, and I'm going to do the same thing probably for this one. I'll put the gold on top of it, and you'll have like a cool, unique look, you know? Something that you can't just go buy in a store. And of course, have to have my Ginger scissors. There's no better scissors on the planet than these ones right here. They are the best scissors in the world. Thank you. You know, I mean, it's all about, you know, I'm trying to get less mad about things, because old me would have been, you know, on the phone cussing these people out like, how dare you sell me this crap? But, you know, at the end of the day, what is that going to do for anyone? Right? It's like, let it go, you know? It's like, is it really going to be that big of a deal for me to have to use my fingers? Like, you know, come on, come on. Like, you know, it's not going to be the end of the world. What's a fourth? Let's get you up here so I can kind of get you guys in the camera shot too there. Usually when you guys are not around, I don't use this mat. But I think the mat kind of helps show it on camera a little bit because it kind of boosts it up out of the way there. And I kind of like that corner that way. What do you think? You like the corner or not the corner, huh? No corner, yes corner? I don't know. But then what we do is take a piece of my bigger fabric and I usually have a working edge, which is this edge, and that's like the standard salvage edge. So I'm kind of leaving that for last. And this one is one of my favorite ones. It's a Moda fabric, it says made in Japan. Made in Japan, 100% cotton. This is what I was using to make face mask out of. Because, I mean, you know, you're not going to get better than Japanese cotton. Like, they have some of the highest quality stuff on the planet. I mean, obviously, the only stuff better is American cotton, but, you know, I was trying to get this cool pattern. I was like, I just couldn't pass it up, right? And then what you're going to do is lay your block down. And, you know, this is something that, you know, I wanted to show off today is, like, what I'm doing is literally figuring out how big I want this thing right here now, right? So if I wanted, like, say you wanted, like, hey, I want to put, like, a hammer in it, and the hammer is, like, 10 inches, then I could measure from here down, like, an extra 10 inches and be like, okay, I can get you, you know, I can get you that thing. All right, you see what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, the block, this is your, this is the block, it's the standard size, and then the actual bag, as we would call it in the industry, you guys would call it a pocket, that can be as big as I want. Because see, it's a totally different piece. See what I'm saying? It's a totally different piece. So, you know, I'm going to end up, what I kind of like doing is figuring out my width, which is this wide, then honestly go like that. And then one of the fun things about fabric is you can give that ASMR, right? Isn't that what they call that? And then I did the other one on this side too, so it's like I'm probably going to do all of them on that side. And you know, you can leave this long for now, and then you know, when I want to make that bag, I can fold it up to as big as I want. So I could literally keep it like that and have it be a big old 10-inch bag if I want it. You know, it doesn't really, and I could have it even wider if I really wanted to. Oh, ASMR is when people do like, they do it like that. So what they use is called a 3D microphone. So right now I have a directional microphone. It's taking in sound from these two like little microphones on the side of the camera and everything in front of it. So if I go over here, it'll be different. If I go over here, it'll be different. And when you use a 3D microphone, it actually does that all the way around. So they put it like in the middle, like on top of a bowl of ramen, and then they'll start eating the bowl of ramen, and you can hear like really close up the kind of noise, and it's actually supposed to be very calming and relaxing for a lot of people. Highly recommended. If you've never been on the internet and looked up ASMR, highly look it up. It's actually a lot of fun. I thought about doing it myself too, but it's like didn't really speak to me necessarily. But for some people, it's like a nice relaxing time. I usually watch something like the Try Guys or something else that's a little sillier, or like a silly game show. But for some people, when they come home from work and stuff, that's what they want to watch, is they want to watch someone else you know, go through it. Go through and eat something. That's what I thought, right? I put that down. Okay, that's what I thought. Alright. But yeah, definitely give it a try if you've never looked up ASMR before. I highly recommend it. It's using you know, technology, modern technology, to give you a sensory experience, is the concept. And it gives you that tingle, like, you know, when you go like that and you get like the goosebumps. It's supposed to give you the goosebumps, but in your ear. So you're like, your whole body kind of relaxes because you're hitting to it. You listen to it, you know, it's rhythmic, so it's. Or, you know, if you like, some people do nails, or some people do typing, and so it reminds them of, like, you know, when they were in the office or something, and, you know, it can kind of calm them down. Again, not really my favorite thing, but hey, you do you, you know what I mean? I'm happy that it's on the internet and available for people that want it. And maybe one of these days, if I get that kind of microphone, because they're like $300 microphones. If I ever get that kind of microphone, then maybe I will. I'll try one out. I like doing like one back stitch at each one. And then that's 1/4 of an inch around as well. And then a little tip as well is, don't start at the end, start in like the middle. And that way you can come back into your line. Instead of having to like meet the 2 points perfectly, it's much easier to meet the 2 points that way. But if you just go to a corner, then you have to nail that corner. Where if you go in a line, you can kind of, you know, fudge your line to be what you need it to be. And it still gives you the same result, just, you know, less waste. And I'm all about less waste. You know, I probably should have just been doing this whole thing sitting down. Alright, so now you have... Oh! Look what I did! Whoops. So do make sure that you pay attention, you know, when I'm trying to talk and do all this stuff at one time. It is always a little bit harder. Okay, so now, as I was saying, now I have my perfect little box there, you see. It's alright, you know, that's what the seam ripper is for, right? No problem. You know, there was a joke I saw one time on Facebook, and it was like, oh, it's a good day, I haven't used my seam ripper in all of 10 minutes. So, you know, that's kind of classically how it's done. And then one of the things that's important here now is, so what I'm doing is making what they would call a welt pocket. This is something that I learned to kind of like master when I was working for another company. And you know, now I'm doing it on my own, but the principle is still the same. And really the key to remember is you gotta go all the way to your stitch line, which means you gotta cut into both fabrics. Not just the one fabric, but actually both. And go all the way to the corner, but you know, not so close that you compromise your fabric there. Which is tough, and I've absolutely cut through it, and then you had to make a whole nother line on the outside and make it like a little bit bigger. You know, I'm gonna turn this so I can do it right. And that's usually why I put a back stitch there, because it is nice to have that little extra security there. And so now you have a hole. And then you just take all your fabric and shove it through that hole. And suddenly you can actually start to see my front again. And then I like going onto the front side and taking that big bag that I still have and stretching that out. And then, you know, you give it a nice tug in every direction there. I give it a nice little tug. I doubt this song is copyright free, but oh well. It's because it's like a remixed version. Strange. I'll fix it. And then usually once I get it a little bit good, but like it's not perfect yet, you want to turn it upside down, and you can start to see like the little creases that it's making. You see that? Like little creases? And that is what you gotta then get rid of. And so, you know, you kind of pull it taut then hit it with that steam to kind of set it. And I find that, you know, you can't get 100% of it like crispy. Like that really depends on the fabric and, you know, how much time and effort I really want to get into it. But it's like you can still get it pretty dang good. See, I mean, that's definitely a marked improvement. I mean, look how clean that is now versus how it was just even a minute ago. But as you can see, you can still see through it. So then we take that big old bag that we have. And so this one I could actually make that big. And then what's cool is you then sew this part to the rest of your quilt, and that will then be hidden behind the backing of the quilt. And so you'll never see this bag. It will look like this when you're done. But really, the pocket's that big. Isn't that neat? So you can actually have it be really, really big. And then there's like little water spots now because this thing has taken a beating over the couple years I've had it. Because I was learning how to use it still, so I wasn't using distilled water for a long time. I always used to use distilled water. And I thought it's given a cool look that you know, this is a dark kind of color, all right, and then the other part is all light, which I made it in the, you know, silver, like you know, what you call it, like gunmetal color, because I figured as my dad, I'll go gunmetal for him, you know. My mom will probably get more of this like white fabric. I'll probably do that one in white. And then this one is going to be like a PTSD one for me. It's going to be in this fabric because it kind of looks like a chain link fence or like chains, you know, because it has all this like silver shininess to it. So that one's going to be for me. And I'll have one because I got to have my own quilt. If I'm going to start selling quilts, I got to have my own, right? And so the last step is, you know, once we determine the size of this bag, which at this point I could cut this back piece as much as I want. Right? And so I've decided to make a big old bag just because I wanted to show how it was done, to be honest. And I might end up redoing this whole piece later after you guys are done, you know, I wanted to show a cool sample today. So let's see here my baggage. And so we have this little bag, you know, and you just line it up and sew all of the pieces. See, it's you know, folded in half down here, so you only have to go from the bottom to the top, back to the bottom. And remember, not to sew it to your block. You're only sewing it to itself. You're not sewing it to the block at all. That was already done. Now we're just doing the bag. And I'll still do that at a fork. And remember to push that out of the way. Remember to push that out of the way. Yeah, and this is a little uneven up here. That's fine. Just go for it. Get the box as good as you can. Oh no! My thread's broke. That's alright. Sometimes when I do the back stitching, if I don't put it in the right place, it will break. You know, sometimes it's hard to do all 4 or 5 of these things at once, huh? Go. Oh, whoa. How'd that piece come off? And the whole thing was trying to break on me, wasn't it? You know, the nice thing is if you end up messing up, you can always try it again, right? Especially something like this cotton fabric. It's so, you know, nice and generous in that sense. Like, look at that. I mean, it's not fraying basically at all. Like, very little. Something like a wool or something. Oh man, this thing's fray like crazy on me. So there we go. Now we have yeah. And so now you have, see, I can put my whole hand inside of it. So say I wanted to store like my scissors, they could actually go inside and go fully inside. See, now you don't even see the scissors. So say you need to hide a pair of scissors from the kids, right? You'd be like, don't use my scissors. My scissors go in my scissor bag and no one can see it no more. So when the kiddos ask, hey, can I cut something for a project? You'd be like, I don't have any scissors. You can use the old junky ones here. You can have the orange ones. Yeah, that's the ones you get. You don't get my $45 pair of scissors. Because these things they're literally like, depending on who you buy them from, they can be $35 to about $55. If you want the left-handed ones, like these babies, then that's like $60. Because they're rarer, so they charge more for them. Isn't that cool? And so, boom, now you got a bag. I'm sure my grandmother would have used that one when I was growing up, because we were always trying to use her scissors. And of course, if you wanted, you could have a smaller bag and have it be like this, right? Like say if you wanted your bag this size, you could have it that way. And so if you guys do think of something that you're like, hey, I really want my bag a certain size, you know, feel free to tell me. I can always remake your blocks here. Like for instance, this one's going to be a standard size block. And I was actually having fun with this one. This one will be only on the side, whereas this one's going to be vertical. And you know, it's all about however I want to do it. So let's go make this bag too, so I can show you the differences there. And then in the future, I might end up serging all of this in the back. That way it automatically finishes it off. Because it is a raw edge right now, and we don't really love raw edges. But that's alright for, you know, a couple little sample pieces and a couple little like trial and error pieces that I'm doing right now. But in the future, I probably will serge the bag. That way you have a fully finished bag that you don't have to worry about fraying. Even though these kind of cottons and stuff, they won't fray that bad, but still. And so this one only works. See, I'll put my scissors back in it. So you can only really go that way. You can't really store scissors in this one. I could try, huh? No, not gonna be able to fit them in there. See, it's a much smaller bag, right? And, you know, I'm just playing with the sizes and that kind of stuff, right? There we go. So now we have a D, another D. Where'd my A go? Here's my A. And the A on the way. And I think we'll call it for there for today. We'll go ahead and call it there. That'll be my hour, because 45 minutes, that's usually what I'm trying to go for. So yeah, guys, this is my quilt. I'll be hopefully doing commissions by the end of the year. I'm gonna keep getting more and more practice, so I can get practice with this kind of stuff, like how big, practice with this kind of stuff to make sure I don't have like these little kind of errors anymore, where it's like that has no corner to it. Trying to get it all perfect for everyone. That way it's a nice display piece. And then I'm in Phoenix, and so there are about 50 to 100 long arm service people. Like I looked it up on like a website, like a kind of like a commission based website, and there were hundreds of people. Some literally, like one lady's 2 miles down the road from me, like doing it out of her house. So it's like I'll be able to get this long arms no problem. And then, of course, that just adds into the cost. But, if you want it professionally looking and done, then there you go, right? You got to get it. You got to get the full thing, right? So this is how it's going to end up looking, just like this. DAD. Isn't that cool? And then, when he gets his package, it'll come with one of these, with my foil logo type thing. And then I'll write, "Thank you, Daddy." There you go. And maybe I'll do a Daddy-O one for you too. I was thinking about doing like a big O, like a 10-inch, because these are 6-inch. I was thinking about doing I could do like a 10-inch one or 12-inch one, so it'd be double the size, and do the O that way. Get you a big Daddy-O. But we'll see. For now, I kind of want to just do a dad and mom, stuff like that. Just kind of show other people too. Like, hey, this is a great, for Mother's Day and Father's Day next year. It's like, have these available and be like, hey, who wants a commission spot? And I have 3 spots I can do this month. That kind of stuff, Because this is how people do their businesses. It's what's called commission-based. And so I don't make it until you pay me to make it. Is how it works. But for now, I'm making the ones that I want to make, and that, of course, my family and my followers here want to see. And so if you guys want to see another one, put it in the comment section or hit me up in my DMs and tell me that you really want one, and maybe you get one, Well, I'm going to do definitely a bunch of practice for the rest of the year and learn and learn and learn. And don't worry, this stuff's not going away. I'm still doing my clothing. That's not going away, I will have a shirt out by the end of the year, but it's like I kind of was like, all right, let me focus on one business and really get that one going. So it's like this one, and then of course all of all of these guys, which that takes me like a day to do 12. I mean, it takes me 2 hours, but to do 12 of them or so. So it's like, it's all right. I'm getting through them, and the plan is to have at least 24 done by the end of next 2 weeks, which I'll have plenty of time for. I'll probably have 50, 60 done by then easily, if not 100. But I'm trying to use up some of my fabric, get it all done, get my sizes down. I got my my cards down, so I was like a G, stuff like that. I'm getting all of it, getting it all ready, so that way other people can buy my stuff. And not just me playing around here, but also a business, right? But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. I really always appreciate it, even if it's 4 people or 4,000 people. It doesn't matter to me. I still love all of you guys, and really, really happy that everyone came out. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's eventually I'll get big enough I can do tips and all kinds of cool stuff. So it'll be a lot of fun. But yeah. Thank you guys so much. Bye, y'all. See y'all on Tuesday. I'm gonna do another video game stream, because I want to test that out and do a full video game stream. And I bought a video game, I haven't played it yet, so I'm eager to play it. So I'm gonna do that, do video games on Tuesdays, and then also digital content, kind of for the first 10-15 minutes, be here's my new digital stuff. And then after, for the next 45 minutes, play a game, And for these ones, always kind of show you what my update and progress is on that, and then see if I can get someone to want to commission or something like that. Cool, guys. And then by the end of the year, I'll be getting this guy, in production and stuff, and getting that all going. All right. Well, anyways, bye, you guys. Remember to trust yourself, honor yourself and others, and create a world that's safer for everyone. Bye, y'all. Bloop. See, I ain't got no side people. I got to do all the button pushing myself.